Right, in the first set, you are matching the angles with the correct relationship. So the first one says angles 1 and 8. And those are on opposite sides, and they are outside the parallel lines, so that makes them alternate exterior angles. Right, the next one says angle 2 and 7. And those are inside the parallel lines, but they are on opposite sides, so that would make them alternate interior angles. Next, we have angles 4 and 7, and they are across from the vertex and equal, which makes them vertical angles. All right, next we have angles 6 and 8, and those are on the same side, and they are in the same location. They are both below a parallel line, so that makes them corresponding angles. Right, then we have angles 2 and 3, and those are also on the same side, and they are inside the parallel line, so those are same side interior angles. And then lastly, we have angles 1 and 4, and those are both on the same side, and they are outside the parallel line, so that makes them same side exterior angles. I attached a little cheat sheet here for you, so that will give you the angle relationship and what their relationship is, whether they are equal or supplementary. So number 7 says angle 4 is 119 degrees. We'll put 119 for angle 4. And we want to know what the measure of angle 7 is. So those angles are either going to be equal or supplementary. And supplementary means that they're equal to 180 degrees. So if I look at angle 4 and angle 7, I can see that 4 is obtuse because it's bigger than 90. And I can see that 7 is an acute angle because it's smaller than 90. So if 7 is smaller than 90, they can't be equal. So I'm going to say 180 minus 119, and that's going to give me 61 degrees for angle number 7. So every single time they're either going to equal 180 or they're going to be equal to each other. All right, so number 8 says, what is the value of angle D? So I can see here that I have an angle that is 55. So now I need to think, are these angles equal? So if you look at them, are they equal? Or are they supplementary, meaning when you add them together, they're going to give you 180. Now, D also looks like it's an acute angle, so that means that D is also going to be 55 degrees. Number 9, we're comparing 4x minus 10 and 58. So I look at those, and I see that both of those angles are inside the parallel lines, but they are on opposite sides. So that means that they are alternate interior angles. Now, if I look at my diagram here, alternate interior angles are equal. So that means when I set up my equation, I'm going to say 4x minus 10 equals 58. Then I'm going to solve the equation. And you're going to get x equals 17. All right, number 10 says angle 3 is 2x plus 20 and angle 5 is 3x plus 10. What is the value of x? What is the value of angle 3 and angle 5? All right, so if I look at angle 3 here, and I look at angle 5 here, so they're both on the same side, and they are inside the parallel lines. So that makes them same side interior angles. And that tells me that they are supplementary angles, meaning when I add those two angles up, they're going to be equal to 180. So I'm going to say 2x plus 20 plus 3x plus 10 equals 180. So 2x plus 3x is 5x. 20 and 10 is going to give me 30. Set that equal to 180. Then I'm going to solve here. So I subtract 30. Divide by 5. And I'm going to get x equals 30. So x is equal to 30. And then it says, what is the value of angle 3 and angle 5? So angle 3 says it is 2x plus 20. So I'm going to replace x with 30. So that's going to be 2 times 30 plus 20. So 2 times 30 is 60. 60 plus 20 is 80. So angle 3 is 80 degrees. Angle 5 says it is 3x plus 10. So again, I'm going to replace x with 30. So 3 times 30 plus 10. So 3 times 30 is 90, plus 10 is 100. So angle 5 is 100 degrees, angle 3 is 80 degrees, and together they make 180 degrees. All right, for circles, you need to know two formulas. So area of a circle is pi times radius squared. Circumference of a circle is pi times diameter. And you need to know that pi is equal to 3.14. All right, so number one, you're calculating the area and the circumference. So to get the area, we're going to do pi times radius squared. Now, radius is the line that goes halfway across the circle. So I'm going to say 3.14 times 4.5 squared. And you're going to punch that in the calculator. And we're going to get 63.59 if I round. So the area is 63.59. Now I want to get the circumference. So circumference is pi times diameter. Diameter is the line that goes all the way across the circle. So if 4.5 is halfway across the circle, that means 9 would be all the way across the circle. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 9. And that's going to give us 28.26 for the circumference. Right, and number two, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm calculating the area and circumference. So area is pi times radius squared. So if the radius is halfway across the circle and 6 is going all the way across the circle, halfway would be 3. So I'm going to say 3.14 times 3 squared. And that's going to give us 28.26. All right, for the circumference, I'm going to do pi times diameter. And 6 is going all the way across the circle, so that is our diameter. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 6. And that's going to give us 18.84 for the circumference. Right, number 3, the circumference of a circle is 37.68. What's the diameter and the radius? All right, so I know that circumference is equal to pi times diameter. It says the circumference is 37.68. Pi is 3.14, and I'm solving for the diameter. So to solve this equation, I need to divide both sides by 3.14. And that's going to give us that 12 is equal to the diameter. So if the diameter is 12, and that's all the way across the circle, then the radius would be 6 because that's halfway across the circle. So the diameter is 12, the radius is 6. Right, number 4 says the area of a circle is 452.16. What is the radius and diameter? So I know that area of a circle is pi times radius squared. I'm going to plug in what I have. So the area is 452.16. Pi is 3.14, and I'm solving for that radius. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14. And when I divide that, I get 12. That would cancel out. So 12 is equal to the radius squared. So now you need to think what number squared, or actually, no, that was not 12. So that would give you 144. Sorry. And then you need to think what number squared would give you 144. And that number would be 12. So 12 times 12 gives us 144. So 12 is equal to the radius. If 12 is the radius and that's halfway, that means 24 is the diameter. All right, number 5 says the circumference of a circle is 69.08. What is the area? So I'm going to start with the circumference formula, pi times diameter. The circumference is 69.08. Pi is 3.14, and I'm solving for the diameter. So to solve this, I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14. And when I divide that, I'm going to get 22 for the diameter. Now I want to know what the area is. So to get area then, I need to do pi times radius squared. I'm going to do this up here because I'm running out of room. All right, pi times radius squared. So if the diameter is 22, that means the radius is 11. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 11 squared. And that is going to give me 379.94. And that was number 5. So 379.94. Right, and number 6, the area of a circle is 200.96. What is the circumference? So area equals pi times radius squared. I'm going to replace a with 200.96. Replace pi with 3.14, and that equals the radius squared. I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14. And that's going to give us 64 equals the radius squared. So now I need to think what number squared, or what number times itself gives you 64. And that number would be 8. So 8 is equal to the radius. Then to get the circumference, I need to do pi times diameter. So if the radius is 8, then the diameter is 16. So 3.14 times 16. And that is going to give us a circumference of 50.24. All right, next is remediation 24. This one's all about splitting up shapes into shapes that are that you can recognize, and then solving for the area. All right, so number 1, we can split that up into 2 rectangles here. So if I split this here, then I have this square that is 16 by 16. And that gives us an area of 256. And then I also have this rectangle here that is 18 by 19. That's going to give us 342. So to get the total area, I'm going to add those up. That's going to give us 598. Right, number 2, I'm going to split it up here. So we know that the entire height of the rectangle is 5, which means that this here is also going to be 5. Now I have 2 triangles there, so if the entire length is 5 and I have 2 equal triangles, that means that each base of the triangle would be 2.5. So to get area of a triangle, I'm going to do base times height divided by 2. So the base and height of the triangle are 2.5 and 5. So 2.5 times 5 divided by 2 is going to give us 6.25. So this triangle has an area of 6.25. This triangle has an area of 6.25. And then I'm going to calculate the area of the rectangle. So that is 5, and then I need to figure out what the base is. So it tells me that the entire length of the shape is 10, and I know that I have 5 here, which means that this would also need to be 5 centimeters so that the whole thing once again adds up to 10. So then the square, it's a 5 by 5 square, and 5 times 5 is going to give us 25. So then I have 25, 6.25, and 6.25, and I'm going to add those up. And that is going to give us a total area of 37.5. Right, number 3 is like number 1. So I'm just going to split this up. I'll split it here. So at the top, we have a 60 by 60 square. And that's going to give us an area of 3,600. Then at the bottom, we have a 60 by 100 rectangle. That's going to give us an area of 6,000. And then I'm going to add those 2 up, and that's going to give me 9,600 for the area. In number 4, I have a half circle and a triangle. So for the half circle, to get area of a circle, I do pi times radius squared. So if I were to extend this out so that it looks like a full circle, you can see that 9 is the radius. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 9 squared, and then because I only want half of a circle, I'm going to divide that by 2. And that's going to give me an area of 127.17. Right, then for the triangle, I know that the base is 27, but I need the height, and the height would be the diameter of the circle. So if the radius of the circle is 9, then the diameter of the circle would be 18. So then I'm going to do 27 times 18 divided by 2, because it's a triangle, base times height divided by 2. And for the triangle, I'm going to get an area of 243. And then I'm going to add those 2 together to get the total area. And that's going to give me 370.17. All right, number 5, I'm going to find the area of the triangles. And the 2 triangles will be exactly the same. So the 2 here would go from here to here, meaning that it's the radius of the circle. So that means each triangle has a base of 2. So I'm going to do base times height. So 5 times 2 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. So each triangle has an area of 5. And then I'm going to find the area of the half circle. So the radius of the circle is 2. So I'm going to do pi times radius squared. So 3.14 times 2 squared. And then I'm going to divide that by 2 because it's a half circle. And that's going to give us 6.28. Then I add 5 plus 5 plus 6.28. And that gives me a total area of 16.28. In number 6, I have a triangle and a rectangle, and I'm looking for the shaded portion. So I'm going to find the area of the entire triangle first. So it has a base of 12 and a height of 12. So for the triangle, I'll do base times height divided by 2. So 12 times 12 is 144. And then 144 divided by 2 is going to give me an area of 72. And then for the rectangle, I will just do 9 times 3, and that is 27. And then since I just want the shaded portion, I'm going to subtract these two. That's going to give us an area of 45. Number 7, again, I want the shaded portion. So I have a rectangle and a full circle there. So for the rectangle, sorry about that. For the rectangle, I will just do 36 times 34. And that gives us an area of 1,224. Then for the circle, I will do pi times radius squared. So 3.14 times 12 squared. And I don't divide it by 2 here because it's a full circle. So 3.14 times 12 squared. And that's going to give me 452.16. And then because I just want the shaded portion, I'm going to subtract my two answers. So 1,224 minus 452.16, and that is going to give us 771.84. Number 8, you can either split it up here into like 3 rectangles, or you can just draw a line here and make it into a full shape and then find the area of the shaded region, which is the easiest way to do it. So if I did it that way, I would find the area of the big outside rectangle. So that's 14 by 24.5. And that's going to give us an area of 343. And then I find the area of that square inside. And that's a 7 by 7. So that's going to give us an area of 49. And then I would subtract the 2. And that would give us a total area of 294. And then number 9 is just like number 2. So if I split this up here, then the height of the rectangle is 4, which means the base of each triangle is 2. So to find the area of the triangle, I'm going to do 5 times 2, which is 10, divided by 2, which is going to give me an area of 5 for each one of these. And then I know that the total length is 11, and I know that this is 5 up here. So left here would be 6 meters to make a total of 11. So then the rectangle is going to be 4 by 6, which is 24. So 5 plus 5 plus 24 would give you 34 for the area. All right, the next remediation is on surface area. So in surface area, you find the area of all the faces and you are adding it together. So I'm going to do my work over here because there's not a whole lot of space. All right, so number 1, so we'll say this is number 1. On a rectangular prism, you have 6 faces. Right, so those faces are the front, the back, the top, the bottom, the left, and the right. So the front face here, if I highlight this, is a 9 by 3 rectangle. So 9 times 3 is going to give us 27. The front and the back will have the same area. Right, then I'm looking for the top and the bottom. So the bottom rectangle here is 9 by 5, and 9 times 5 is going to give us 45. The top and the bottom will be exactly the same. Then we have the left and the right. So that is 5, and it would have a height of 3 here. So 5 times 3 is 15. And then to get my total surface area, I need to add those up. And that would give us a surface area of 174. Right, number 2 is going to be the exact same thing. So the front face, we'll say this one's the front, is 10 by 2, and that is going to give us an area of 20. So the front and the back would be the same. The top and the bottom, so the bottom is 5 by 10, so that's going to give us an area of 50. And then we have the left and the right. So the left is 5 by 2, which is 10. The right is going to be the same. And then again, I'll just add all those up to get the total surface area, which would give us 160. Right, number 3 is a triangular prism. So that means that we have 2 triangle faces and 3 rectangle faces. So let's start with the area of the triangle, and I'm going to do base times height divided by 2. So the base is 28, the height is 21. I'm going to divide that by 2, and that's going to give me an area of 294. The 2 triangles will be exactly the same. Then I have 3 rectangles. So the bottom rectangle would be 28 by 14. So 28 times 14 gives me an area of 392. Then I have this rectangle here, and it is 35 by 14, which gives me an area of 490. And then I have this rectangle that's kind of on the left side here, and that's 21 by 14. And that's going to give me an area of 294. And I'm going to add those up to get the total surface area. And that would give me 1,764. Right, number 4 says Nyaja is putting a new liner in her rectangular swimming pool. The pool is 30 feet long, 20 feet wide, and 9 feet deep. How many square feet of liner would she need to cover the surface of the pool if she does not cover the top? So I have my rectangular prism here. And I'm going to label my dimensions. So it says that it is 30 feet long, 20 feet wide, and 9 feet deep. And she's going to cover everything except the top. So that would mean that she covers the bottom, the front, the back, the right, and the left. Right, so the bottom is 20 by 30, so that would give us an area of 600. The front is 30 by 9, and that gives us an area of 270. The back will be the same. Then the right is 9 by 20, which gives an area of 180, and then we add those up. And that would give us a total surface area of 1,500. Number 5 is just like number 3. So you have 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So the triangle has a base of 4, a height of 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. Divided by 2 is 6. So each triangle has an area of 6. Then the rectangles, this one would be 5 by 15, which is going to give us an area of 75. This one here is also 5 by 15, which gives us an area of 75. However, the bottom one is 4 by 15, so that would give you an area of 60, and you're going to add those up, and you should get 222. Right, number 6, you have a square pyramid. That means that you have a square base, and then you have 4 congruent triangles. Because the base is a square, it means all the triangles will be exactly the same. So the bottom square is a 10 by 10, and that gives you an area of 100. And then for the triangle, it has a base of 10, a height of 13. So you're going to do 10 times 13. And you're going to divide that by 2, and that will give you 65. And all of the triangles then will be 65. And that would give us a total surface area when we add it up of 360. Right, number 7 is the same thing. So I have a square base and 4 triangles. So the base is a 7 by 7 square. So 7 times 7 is going to give us 49. And then I have those 4 triangles. So the base of the triangle is 7 because it's a square. The height of the triangle is 12. So 7 times 12 divided by 2, and that's going to give us 42. So every triangle is 42. And I'm going to add all that up. And that's going to give you a total surface area of 217. Right, and then lastly, number 8, also a square pyramid. That's just an unfolded square pyramid. So the square would be a 4 by 4 square. So 4 times 4 is 16. So the area of the square is 16. The base of the triangle, since it's like the base of the square, is 4 because it was a 4 by 4 square. So we're going to do 4 times 6, which is 24, divided by 2, which is 12. So all of these triangles would have an area of 12, and then I'm going to add it up. And that gives me a total surface area of 64.